Hey there, welcome to my Recovering Perfectionist Diaries. So this weekend's preventing me from filming because my computer stinks. But a lot of reflection has been occurring and kind of themes that have come across in my past, and especially last fall when I was part of this all girls kind of Christian group. It wasn't a Bible study, but it was just a girls group. And a lot of what we talked about sometimes was the effect of body image in relationship to our perfectionism, and but also what do the deeper effects of that and or causes behind that. And I read somewhere this past week, or just came across, I don't know, my feed or whatever, but it made me think about when one or myself, I'll be real me, when I'm getting too fixated on the physical, with how my body looks and feels, and when I get too fixated on like I haven't done enough, exercise or eaten well enough or blah, insert whatever it is for you. um, it's starting to that puts the validation of who I am as a person external, and ultimately we probably all know this, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily always rational. That it's not the external factors in our life that will ultimately bring us happiness. That it actually brings us, we are never satiated from the external factors, whether it's through clothes, through makeup, through the cars we drive, how much money we make. Those external factors, if you've ever seen that documentary Happy, it's super good. It says the external factors in our life only derive 10% of your happiness rates. 50% is your genetics, just like your disposition of hormones and stuff like that. And then 40% is totally up to you in your intrinsic values and internal factors. It's all up really here and here. And I'm realizing how conditional my self-worth is, so that I have for myself. And maybe it's from like the puritanical also culture we're in America. We're very results oriented. The more you do, the better you are. The self-discipline is highly celebrated in our culture, which is not a bad thing in itself, but it becomes unbalanced. And I'm already a very self-disciplined person normally, and under stressful situations, I go into more discipline mode or the complete opposite direction, and as a coping mechanism. And I wonder, and it makes me think about it's probably also a reflection. I use that as a coping mechanism because I feel like my self-worth is conditional. That, like, in terms of my parental relationships or even romantic relationships, like, or friends, like, my self-worth as a human being is dependent upon how much I can give to them and what I can do for them, or in my job, or how much I can output. And I know it's not true, but it's the way it is, and it's also a deep reflection of how I, I guess how I view myself in my faith, and that I don't value myself unconditionally, no matter how little or how much I output in my life, whether it's physically and how much money I make, how much work I get done, how much studying I get done, how many blah blah I get done, how many chaturangas and push-ups I do, or whatever. Like, that ultimately doesn't matter who I am as a person, but I think it's a deeper reflection that I have a lot of work to do spiritually, and figuring out how to really cultivate a deep belief that I am unconditionally loved by God, by my parents, and by the ones that I love. And that's something maybe I think a lot of us struggle with, that we maybe don't even realize, is that hole that's missing inside that some of us might identify with. Like, no matter what I do, I just can't fill that hole. Sometimes we fill it up with whatever it is: shopping, food, drugs, alcohol, TV, or whatever. That kind of that trigger of addiction for each of us, that each of us has, is probably just that hole of not believing that we are unconditionally cared for, by the universe, by God, by whatever you want to name it. I name him God, and that just means that I have. It's good to go through these kind of periods because then you reflect on. I still got work to do, and so if you, and it's not aesthetic work, it's not physical work. I'm feeling bad, like I'm feeling bad today. I got to do better on my physicality or whatever. It's like, no, let's get deeper. Let's get deeper, y'all. It's a lot deeper than that. And for me, I'm realizing it's trying to shift my mindset of that conditional relationship I have with myself into an unconditional one that's reflective of my faith. And I don't know if that's an easy feat, but that's at least a starting point. So that areas you have it if you want to reflect on that for all my recovering perfectionists out there. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.